Hello folks, and welcome to the workshop for project number 2 of our self-isolation social distancing challenge. Today we're going to build a ukulele. Now I know in the challenge we're supposed to use only parts and pieces that we have at home, and actually I did have this at home. You see, I've traveled all over and made hundreds of these with children, with senior citizens, and everything in between. And my friend Wolfgang Cater, who owns this company, ukulele.com, he sent me this because it's a new project for them. It's a Resonator Wolfinator, so a Resonator ukulele. I'm looking forward to putting this together. And what could be better at this time to spend a few dollars and have something that you really don't need any tools for? Literally, in a worst case scenario, all I need is a little bit of glue, a screwdriver, and some clear coat for afterwards. It comes with strings, with screws, with everything you need, and a complete set of instructions. Well, let's start building a ukulele. First thing we're going to do is a dry fit. We're going to take the top, put the good side down, look at the neck, see how it fits together. Fits good. And I'm going to trace a line on there because we don't want glue where we don't want glue. And that helps me know where to put the glue. Literally, all we do now is we usually sing a song like "Eyes the mind that builds the boat, eyes the mind that sails her," about 6 times, and that's long enough. But I might find something heavy to sit on here while this glue dries. But literally, all you need is a flat surface. I've had this can of paint on here for about 15 minutes to let this glue cure and to hold everything in place. Okay, take our 2 side pieces, put the good sides out, and let's put the bottom on. And everything seems to fit good. And I might just make a pencil line for my own guide. Okay, well, let's put some glue on here. And some glue on here. Now I'm going to put these 2 little clamps on. That helps just hold things in place. Make sure we're still centered, and we'll just give it a little help to sit flat. There we go. That's sitting just perfect. I'm going to let that squeeze out cure a little, then I'll come along and it'll cut off just like a ribbon with this sharp wood chisel. Well, the weights have been on there about 10 minutes. Let's have a look. Now we'll just use this chisel and cut off any squeeze out. And there's a tiny little bit. There we go. Got all the glue taken off. Now it's time to glue on the back. And there's always one side a little nicer than the other. We want the good side out. I'm going to do a dry fit, make sure it fits well everywhere. And it does. And then what I'm going to do is just slide this down a little bit and do another pencil line. Because I want to get glue here, but I don't want to get glue here, because we don't want glue where we don't want glue. Probably the easiest way to do this is to line it up like this. And put the bottom down even. Stand it up, center it. Squeeze it for a second, and then all I do, I'm doing it with kids, I just say sing a couple songs and hold down. But I'm not that patient, so let's do this. Then we'll come back in 10 minutes and have a look at it. Well, I actually let the glue dry overnight. So let's take off our weights here and have a look at things. There we go. And there really isn't much squeeze out. I did take a little bit off with a chisel before I called it a night. Okay, so now, next step is we're going to mount our fretboard. Before we do that, I'm just going to have a tiny bit of squeeze out right there. I'm just going to take off with a wood chisel and maybe a block of sandpaper. There we go. Now, I'm going to have to put a lot of down pressure on this fretboard, so I'm going to put some pieces here so I don't end up breaking the ukulele. There we go. That'll work good. And it comes with all the screws you need. We'll just start them first. There we go, the fretboard's on. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to sand it down before we put a clear coat on it. It's got a few rough edges and sometimes the edges of the fret wire is a little rough. So I'm going to sand it, blow it off, and then I'll give it a clear coat. Coat number 1 of the Varathane is on. I've rubbed it off with an abrasive pad, blown it off with the air compressor. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. It's only semi-gloss, so it's not going to have a lot of sheen. All right, let's finish it up. Hopefully 2 coats will be enough. Well, the varnish is cured. That Baltic birch plywood looks kind of nice, doesn't it, actually? Now it's time to install the tuners. So again, I'm going to put it on a block so I don't put undue strain on things, and I'll just drop them all in place. The kit comes with tuners and with all the screws you need as well. I'm going to go over them with a screwdriver just to make sure they're all snug. I'm sure appreciate it. Here we go. She's starting to look more like a ukulele all the time. Now, I've never built a resonator, but I understand we're supposed to put these screws in here first and attach the strings, I guess, as well. So this string is the first one, or the fourth one, depending on There we go. It's a little bit like spaghetti, isn't it? Now, the resonator goes in, and we need to get our bridge. And it's actually drying up in the vent by the wood stove because I varnished this 3 times. Looks beautiful, and I forgot to varnish the wooden bridge. I think it's dry. I'll just get it. There we go. It's not tacky. Looks good. I would say it goes like that. You'll notice I'm sitting on a stool. It just makes it a little easier when I'm putting the strings on. Here's the tool I went to get, a winder. It sure speeds up the process of turning that knob and tightening up these strings. Now, this is the first time I've ever put a string on a resonator before, but I've done a lot of other ukes. I'm going to try the same system. I usually pull it tight to the bridge and then pull it back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frets. I wind it once above it, twice above the tag end, and then I go below the tag end. There we go. guys, sounds pretty good, doesn't it? All from a kit. Well, this is project number 2 of my social isolation workshop challenge. And I encourage you to find a project to build at home with the materials on hand, take some pictures, take a video and share it here on YouTube. If nothing else, just leave some comments below and tell us what you've built. Well, folks, speaking of social isolation, I better get inside because I told my wife about 20 minutes ago I'd be in for supper. And I don't want to spend the next 2 weeks in social isolation from my spouse. What would we call that? Spousal isolation? Or spousal distancing? I don't want to find out. Well, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again on Out of the House with Paul.